Hello again, my name is David Watts from Lenovo Press, and I have with me today Tem Mohamed. He is the Worldwide Product Manager for IoT and Edge Computing. How you doing, Tem?
Hi David, how are you? Thanks for having me today.
You're welcome. So today we're going to be talking about the ThinkSystem SE350. This is our new Edge server. So Tem, what's an Edge server for?
So what we're doing here today, David, is basically bringing a piece of the data center into the remote edge location.
Okay.
So this would be a retail location, for example, or a manufacturing plant, a factory, bringing the compute closer to where the data is generated.
Okay, so what type of applications would you run on such a system?
So what we're talking about is, for example, the consolidation of many applications that can happen at the edge. So if you think of a retail grocery store, for example, or a department store, they have things such as a point of sale system, a video analytics, as well as separate, disparate IT systems that are running in the store. We can consolidate all these workload at the edge onto one of those servers. You can also cluster them, have several servers running traditional HCI stacks and edge stacks as well.
Right, okay. Now, servers are traditionally in a data center.
That's right.
We're talking about moving these out into rugged locations, harsh locations. What are the characteristics of an edge server?
So what we did here today, of course, as I mentioned, we want to bring a piece of that data center into the location. The challenges would be physical security, the data encryption, as well as the climate challenge of
temperature, vibration, noise.
Non-controlled environment, right? Unlike your data center that is clean air, secure,
dusty,
chilled. Right. So you're gonna find that many of those challenges are overcome by the design of the SE350.
Right. And I would also say too, another characteristic is management. You don't have IT experts out in your locations.
Right, and that's why
so you're looking for robust remote management capabilities.
That's why we integrated the X-Clarity controller into the SE350 with the full gamut of remote control as well as management of the system.
And there's quite a few remote management pieces. We'll talk about those too.
Right.
Okay.
So for example, traditionally in data center you would wired connect and manage your server, but one of the challenges at the edge is connectivity.
Right.
So you might need a wireless ability.
Yes. Yes. I mean, as you can see from the systems here,
that's right.
That the SE350 has wireless capability. We've got LTE antennas and Wi-Fi antennas on the wireless model for that exact purpose. Yeah.
Right.
So let's actually go through the components of the hardware.
Let's do that.
We have two systems here to show you today. The one over here, this is the wireless model. You can tell it's wireless because of the antennas. And this is the system that's available. This just has wired connectivity. And there's a lot of connectivity choices with both, but those are fundamentally the two different choices you have. So Tem, it's the Intel Xeon D.
Correct. So starting with
series.
a processor, you can run up to, it is a one processor, up to 16 cores.
Yes,
all right?
yes.
And as you can see there, it will support 4 DIMMs of memory.
So if you've got the 64 gig DIMMs, for example, that's 256 gig of RAM. Yeah, so it's pretty substantial for such a small system, right?
Absolutely, yes. ECC, like we said, X-Clarity BMC controller. And what you see there, David, is this is the boot bay, our patented M.2.
Yes.
Yes.
For those of you who are familiar with our other ThinkSystem products, this is the M.2 adapter that we have in those systems as well. But of course, this system uses M.2 exclusively for data storage as well, and we'll get to that in a moment. But yes, this is an M.2 exclusive system.
That's right.
You would use these ones though for boot. Yeah.
Correct. So we'll support a single boot or a dual RAID boot on the system, as well as you can take out that cage.
So this is the riser.
Yes. This is what we call the riser card, and you can see there is. Thank you. What you see here is there are 2 bays. You can populate the system all with M.2, up to 8 M.2 cards. This one here, this 4 bay is an innovation, with the SE350, just like we do with the dual boot adapter. You can populate 4 M.2 in this holder card, so you can have it on both sides.
Yes, so if I may, so it's a PCIe by 32 riser card, and offering 2 by 16 sides.
You got it.
We actually refer to them as wings. So this is the left wing and this is the right wing. In the product guide, we refer to them and in the pubs as wings. So yes, this M.2 adapter, 4-bay.
Yep, could be SATA or NVMe type of drives.
Yes, this is the SATA connector for the SATA drives.
That's
if you
right.
put the M.2 on this side as well, if you hold that for a moment,
yes,
let me
you
show you.
can show the other type of riser card.
This is the other variation of riser that has the connectors for 2 M.2 adapters, one on either side.
Or you can have expandability with a low-profile PCIe card.
Right, and you could have a GPU there, right?
Right, you can have, we support an NVIDIA Tesla T4 GPU.
Yep.
Also, in the future, other expandability options with FPGA and video analytics.
Yeah, so a variety of, there's choice now. What we have installed right now is the 4-port gigabit Ethernet adapter with Broadcom. So
we'll also support 25G, and
quite a variety of things will become available as it goes on. Yes,
you got it.
And Tem, also on the wireless model, we have this wireless adapter. Now, what's going on here?
So what you see there, this is the LTE module.
Okay.
And if you flip it over on that side, this is where the SIM card goes for the LTE module.
Okay.
This right here is a Wi-Fi module.
Okay.
And both are cabled towards these antennas.
Right, the cables route through and then go through to the antennas at the back.
That's right. So these are the Wi-Fi and these are the LTE cables.
Very good.
Yeah.
So at the front of the system, if you want to lift that one up, what we have here are the two different variations. So Tem has the wireless model, and I've got the wired one over here. They both have 10 gig, two 10 gig ports. So 10 gig SFP plus connectors, cages just there. Next to that, on my system, we have 2 remote management ports.
Yes.
These can be redundant,
correct,
if you wish to. Again,
so for example, in manufacturing environments, a lot of the time, the operators want to separate their control network and their traditional monitoring or IT network.
Yeah, so that's why the value there.
Well.
If you don't want to have remote, dedicated management ports, you can actually use port 1 of the SFP Plus for remote managers as well through NCSI. That's also an option as well.
Or you could remote manage using the wireless ports, the LTE or the Wi-Fi.
Lots of remote management choices,
That's idea.
Now, on your system, the wireless one, there's also 2 1 gig SFP connectors, 2 cages there. Again, a lot of connectivity choices. You have 1 remote management, and then both systems have 2 RJ45 Ethernet that can do gigabit 10 or 10100.
10100, yes, correct.
Yep, same there.
Right.
And then they also have 2 USB 3.1 G1 ports at the front.
Yep, and there's also some additional ports on the back.
Yeah, let's spin around, have a look at the back there.
First.
Yep.
Yeah,
so at the back then, we've got 2 USB 2 ports on either system, and then a serial port,
the
RJ45 serial port, if you need to use that as well.
And we also have a couple of power input options.
Right, okay.
So what
have you got on yours?
Yeah, so this is actually the AC variation of that.
Right.
And you can see the AC brick adapter.
So the AC adapters are external.
Correct. And for flexibility.
Right.
For flexibility.
We're trying to keep the size of the server small as possible.
That is right.
But also, we don't always have to have these if you're a telco customer, for example, right?
Correct. So for telco customers and applications, we'll support minus 48 volt DC input. So you would not need any power source for that. And you notice, David, that we have 2 power inputs. So the system will support redundant power supplies.
It's 2 of these, yes.
And it will tolerate 1 power supply failure for redundancy and availability.
In most configurations, yeah.
Correct.
Yep, okay. In terms of redundancy, the server has 3 cooling fans.
So we're actually tolerating 1 fan failure.
Right, N+1 redundancy, yeah.
Yep.
Now, in terms of security is very important. This is an edge system that's not protected by data center. What are the features of security that the system has?
So we talk about physical security, for example, because your data center is locked up, badge access, and so forth.
Yep.
At the edge, you don't have that luxury. Anybody, from the public or even can walk up to the server and just be curious and shake it.
Yes.
So we have what we call motion detection. So the X-Clarity controller will detect that the server has been moved from a leak.
So there's an accelerometer. There's
That's exactly right.
G sensor built into the system, right?
Yes, there is one. So we will detect motion detection. We'll be able to react to such temper event. If somebody opens a top cover, for example, physically there is actually
that's what this is.
An
yes,
intrusion switch.
Yes. And so that is armed, if you like, when the lid of the server is on it.
Exactly.
And as soon as you release the lid, then that activates and Now, what type of actions would you do?
So actually, it's important to mention that all this is controllable from the XCC, from Xclarity, so that our customers can set the type and the level of security that they need, low, medium, high, or turn it off if they like, if they don't feel the need for it. But the idea here, our customers have options. And you can send alerts to the administrator. You can decide to lock down the server if a temper event happens.
What do you mean by lockdown?
So, we have activation and deactivation of the server, so it would shut down.
If you've got SED drives in the system, and with the motion detection or the intrusion detection activated, if a thief removes the cover, is the data protected?
The data is protected. So the authentication keys or for the SED drives are not available. Then the data is deemed useless. I mean, nobody will.
Okay, so the data is protected. If someone actually does steal it and remove the cover,
it's
the data is secure, and that's really what's important to the system, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Very good. Now, there's also a Kensington slot on the side of the server.
So we also have physical security control. So a customer is able to.
So this is an unusual setup. So we talked about the intrusion switch, the idea that if you remove the cover, the system is armed. The system reacts to removing the cover. However, if you actually want to service the machine, and you're authorized to do so, then you don't want the system to lock down and render the data useless. So instead, we have the ability to arm the system and disarm the system from the Kensington slot. And there's an electronic switch involved here. And so what happens is, with the keys, you have the keys, if you unlock this device, this is the lock here, if you unlock this and remove it, that will then disarm the system. So if you're an authorized user, you can then disarm the system to maintain and to access internally.
So that's why we have, you can call it a smart lock, because our BMC or Xclarity controller is aware of the position of the lock. So it'll understand that you are authorized to open a top cover if you have the key.
Yeah. Of course, this can have a cable attached, traditional Kensington cable for physical security, just to make it just that much harder for a thief to walk off with your server. So
you got it.
Yet more physical security.
More physical security.
Yeah. All right. Now, in terms of the environment, Dusty?
So, yep, that's correct. So we talked about how challenging the environment and unpredictable is at the edge.
Yes.
So we've built the server to be rugged. It will tolerate up to 55 degrees Celsius. And it's important to mention that the performance will not be impacted.
That's pretty hot, by the way. 55 degrees is pretty hot.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's actually... the record temperature on Earth was 57 degrees Celsius,
okay,
so we're right there.
Maybe that was last week, I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about mounting options, because that really ties into the whole ruggedness and availability and dust and so on.
Right.
So what we have here are some of the mounting options. Tim, you want to go through those?
So we have about half a dozen mounting options for our customers, again, to add flexibility at this challenging edge location. We can start with this, what we call the sleeve, for example.
The node sleeve,
The node sleeve, yes. So the server would slide in and out of the node sleeve.
So it just slides,
very easily. The idea behind node sleeve is it's very flexible. You can have one server stacked, and then you see these T-pins here. You can securely stack.
Right. So you can have up to 3 stacked horizontally,
like pancakes,
sitting on a desk, for example, or on a shelf, perhaps.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Or you can decide to have them vertically like this.
And we call that bookshelf.
And we call that the bookshelf, and there is some bookshelf ends.
So the brackets on both sides give it right. And I'd also point out too at the front here, what's that?
So this is what we call a locking bezel. This locking bezel for physical security, you can see there's a lock on the front there. But also, if you look closer, there is what we call a dust filter.
Right.
So some environments, manufacturing floor, for example, or a back of a grocery store, it might get dusty and so forth. So this is a replaceable dust filter.
Yes, and there are filters across both parts of the front of the server.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
and it's a security bezel, so that you can't simply unplug or plug in other things.
Correct.
The design will prevent that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it serves a dual purpose.
Right, now, so the sleeve is used for stacking and for bookshelf, but it's also used for wall and ceiling mount too, right?
So it's a ceiling mount on the wall under a desk, what have you. So this is what we call the AC bracket. This AC bracket has what is a VISA, standard VISA orientation, so that you can mount it, directly on a wall, or you can use
this is a mock-up of a DIN rail. It's a piece of a DIN rail, and the idea being that you would put this, you'd have these on the wall.
That's right.
And you would use these
latches.
Latches to attach to the server or to the sleeve or to the AC adapter bracket to mount these on the wall.
Yes, exactly. So
and you can mount them side by side, right?
You can put the brackets next to each other, the black bracket and the sleeve next to each other, or you can put the bracket behind the sleeve, whatever.
Okay,
you
so
like.
you could mount the AC adapter to the bracket. Lift that up if you would.
Yes.
Yes. Upside down.
So
the cable.
Yep.
So you'd mount this the AC adapter bracket onto the DIN rail first, and then if you want, you can then put the node sleeve with the server in it on top of that.
Yes,
to be in one nice unit.
Occupying minimal space. So that's the idea here. Or if you choose, you can take the sleeve directly and put it on the
mount it directly.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. So.
And of course, as you said, the sleeve can be used to mount on the ceiling, or on the underside of a desk, or on a wall, wherever you like. Yeah.
That's right. That's the flexibility that is required at the edge, to meet those challenges.
Yeah. Now, so those are when you're installing it by itself. Or perhaps ThinkSystem. But for some customers, especially telco customers, you may want to actually install it in a rack, right? So what are the rack options we have?
So come over here, David. Let me show you. So basically, telco customers...
Let me hold on that.
Okay, thanks. So telco customers actually would not require this tray. This is the AC tray. So so you would first configure it. This is designed to house two nodes side by side, as you can see there.
This is the enclosure, right?
This is what
E1 enclosure. Yep.
This is the E1 enclosure, and it's designed to hold two servers side by side because it's half width, exactly half width.
Yes.
So this would be one orientation if you're in a telco environment and don't require AC adapters.
Right.
Now you can also configure the enclosure to be a standard depth in a rack.
Right. So for a standard depth, you would put the standard depth rack. You would put the AC adapters behind the server, and it's a 1U.
That's right.
Enclosure in total.
Correct.
Right?
And some customers also the racks are a little bit shorter, so they maybe not have that depth. And
in which case, then it mounts on top. You've got a 2U system, right?
That's right. You got a 2U system.
But it's a much shorter depth.
Much shorter depth.
Yes.
Exactly.
And as you said, for telco customers who don't even need the AC adapters, then you just have a short depth rack, and it can be a two post rack.
2-post rack.
In this configuration, or 4-post if you wish.
You can select.
So quite a variety of choices there. Yeah.
Yes. And finally, what you have here is again, it's a dust protector. So this would sit on top of.
Right. It goes just there, and it has the dust filters again, just like the node sleeve. Just turn that over. You can see there's the dust. These are the holders for those, and then there's dust filters that go in just there. And again, there's space to run the cables through as needed. Yeah.
Got it, David.
And it doubles as a shipping bracket.
Yeah. That works. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So as you can see, there's quite a variety of mounting choices, simply because when you're installing a server out in retail environments or in warehouses and so on, you really need the flexibility of how to get it installed and mounted and secured.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, very good. So again, the characteristics of an edge server: security.
Right. Security, so physical security and cyber security. Compact, as you can see, and flexible. That's mount anywhere, several mounting options.
Yep.
High performance. So we talked about the 16-core Xeon D level with ECC memory processor. We talked about the several connectivity options. The traditional wired,
wireless,
as well as wireless,
yes.
Wi-Fi and LTE.
Remote management.
So remote management is very important, right? And it's a challenge to find an IT person at a remote location, not always available. So an ability to connect remotely and manage the system using the world-class Xclarity software from Lenovo.
Excellent. All right. So there you have it. This is the ThinkSystem SE350, our new edge server. If you're looking for more information, we will have the product guide, and we've got a 3D tour, interactive tour, so you can see models of the system and rotate them around and look inside. It's very handy. We also have the data sheet, and a few other documents as well that will give you more information about the system. I'll add a link to the product guide and other things in the description for the video, so check that out. Hope you found the video useful. Tim, thanks very much.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
Yep. All right, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.